power enough to seize or destroy the world.
Take this girl away. Come on, lady.
Captain West, I want to know the connection between this plane crash and Dr. Zorka's death. And unless you tell me...
All right, arrest her.
It must work. As the Phantom, there is nothing that I cannot do.
Good evening, goblins and ghouls, and welcome to the Wednesday night Scream Stream Minisode. I'm your host, Spakenstein, joined as always by my very good friend, Mr. Evan Sink.
Howdy, everybody.
How we doing tonight, Evan?
Doing great. We're what would a cowboy say? I'm darn tootin' terrific.
Feeling dandy. I think
Feeling
dandy. Fine and dandy. How about yourself? That's what you know what you want to know how I am? I'll tell you how I am. Ah! That's how I am. I just yelled at everybody. As Evan said, I pulled the curtain up too soon and then like put it back down. Yeah, that was you guys got to see that panic on my face and in my screaming tones. So but I'm good. I'm having a right, you gotta love a good freak out. But I'm having a good Wednesday. I hope everybody else is having a great Wednesday out there. Glastra, welcome. Hope you're having a good Wednesday evening. And everyone else out there, it's hot most places in our vicinity.
It's a hot one.
It's been, what was it today? Like 98. Very hot. So hopefully everybody's staying cool out there. We're, I'm near a pool and somehow I can't stay cool enough. As I told Emma coming in, I was sweating in the lead up to this show because I've just been running around a pool like a crazy person, not swimming in the pool. So, you get what you get. But hopefully everybody's...
Do you ever not have water at the pool and all you can do is look at, you don't have water to drink at the pool and all you can do is look at all the water and
that's what
you can think about.
Yeah, you could just start to, sometimes it's a hot day, all the waters get bought out. What are you gonna do? You gonna go drink the pool water?
Yeah,
I don't know. Hey,
is it worth it?
You know what I do? I go down. I go to and I drink the really clean stuff out of the chlorinator because the chlorine cleans the water.
The pure
that's
stuff.
That's if I really need to quench my thirst. Yeah, that's what I get. I get that clean, cool water from the chlorinator.
Want a chlorine cleanse right now?
Yeah, that new chlorine diet, the new craze, diet craze.
Gonna reset my gut biome.
Oh, that'll reset it all right. That'll clear it up and out, and it will also cause you to expire. So you know, you'll be really thin then. You know, you'll be really clean and clear and thin. So
Very clean.
very the cleanest. That's what chlorine does. So but however you stay cool during the summer, hopefully you're staying cool. Again, you know, we keep it hot every Friday night on our summer schlock.
That's right, yeah.
Returns.
How
That's
hot
what.
do you think it is in Urania right now?
Well, you know, it's funny because an underground city obviously is not having to deal with the heat from the sun. But you know what they do have to deal with?
The heat from all of the discotheques and the clubs.
Well, but that's like any bumping, hopping city, you know, New York, all the.
You know, it's underground, so what else are they going to be doing? I think they just go down. It's already dark. You don't need blackout curtains or anything. You just hang up the strobe lights.
I think
techno music. Everybody warms the city by just grooving.
Well, but Evan, I think so. They're not having to deal with the sun, but what I think they're having to deal with is the core. We don't know how deep are they. The core. Did you think about that? That's their sun. The core is their sun.
Yeah, it seemed really deep. However, they said how deep they were.
They did.
I can't remember what it was.
I do not remember the depth.
There was an exact number.
There it was, and
it seemed like a lot.
It was a lot. And if you don't know what we're talking about the underground city in the serial that we've been watching every Wednesday night this season. That is, of course, The Phantom Empire, starring singing cowboy Gene Autry, who has a underground civilization living under his ranch. And
co-starring Urania, the city.
The city that does get its own credit in the title sequence. So yeah, it is pretty impressive. Let's not, you know, we're not being facetious. It really is an impressive city. And yeah, I mean, this whole serial has been pretty impressive. You know, there's been quality writing, quality acting, quality set design. I mean, it's been a really enjoyable serial, and not just because it's, you know, we're getting something new with the Western mixed with sci-fi, which we don't really get a lot of, but it's a winning combination. Every week it's been a story that's been satisfying. And you know, the cliffhangers never are, but that's just part of the serial format. You get what you get.
Right. Yeah. Now, where did we leave off last time? What was our cliffhanger last week?
So I believe that. So last week it was chapter 5. Gene finally has gone down into the I almost said underground kingdom, and I'm stuck on last summer.
Well, what is underground but just under a sea of rock?
Exactly. So Gene was underground, he disguised himself. He was trying to disguise the fact that they knocked out one of the soldiers. So he dresses up in the soldiers' getup, goes down with the other soldiers. They very quickly realize he's not taking his air mask off. Suspicious.
Yeah, I don't know
and
how long you thought he could keep that one up.
Literally, it was like boom, boom, boom. That happens. He's immediately taken to Queen Tika. She's like, "Oh, here, let me show you how everything works." And now your time. It's your time to die. You've seen too much. Even though I was the one that just showed. I just played show and tell with you, and now you have to die. So, yeah. And so he was taken to the lightning chamber, right?
Right, that's it. Yeah.
And that was where the cliffhanger left him. Yes. So
by our merciful executioner. So I wonder how this is gonna go.
Yeah, we'll see if well, no, remember he wasn't in the room with Gene. If it's the same
Oh,
guy.
was he not?
Yeah, I'm pretty
Okay.
sure that he turned the switch standing beside the queen, which I don't know why he. I don't know what the difference was. I don't know why he couldn't do that before, but whatever the case may be.
Okay, well, how's he gonna get out of this?
How's he gonna get out of this jam? Probably pretty easily. If the other cliffhangers are any indication, it won't take much. So we'll see. We'll see. I'm excited. I hope that, you know, we get a song, because I feel like we didn't get a song last week from Gene.
We're overdue. We're very overdue.
I was disappointed. I was pretty disappointed. So I am hoping that Gene comes out of the woodwork singing some little novelty song about barnyard animals or something. You know, he rattled that off pretty easily, but
sure, yeah, he could sing about being stuck in a cave or something.
Or maybe this is where, you know, as he's traveling through Morania and he starts seeing, like, they have these special animals that are used to like help with like the like, they're like the livestock down there, but
right, they work with the robots,
right? But
they're robot cowboys,
right? But these all, they kind of resemble deer, but they have antlers and they all have red noses, right? So Gene sees that. He's like, well, what if one of those guys was actually the leader of Santa's sleigh whenever he gets into a bad snowstorm? And that was how Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer was born, from this cereal. I'm not making, I am making it up.
right on out of there.
Just flies right at, yep, the deer are flying around all over the city. You'll see these flashing lights, and then that's how Gene was inspired to write Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. So there it is.
There it is. That's now you know. That's the real story.
The more you know. Yes. So we'll see Gene. Hopefully he does get a chance to explore the city and run around and evade capture, and we'll see if Betsy and her brother get down there and cause some mischief. I'm sure it won't take them long. We'll see. Yeah, that's anything else before we get into it tonight, Evan?
I think the only way he's getting out of this jam is with the help of a bumble. It's just gonna blast right through the wall.
Yeah, that's a pretty safe bet, I would say. It ain't going to take much. So,
yep.
We'll see. On that note, Evan, if you have it queued up,
I do.
We are going to go ahead and get into the exciting beginning of the Phantom Empire Chapter 6, which I did not say the title of. Chapter 6, entitled Disaster from the Skies. Which, not to delay us too much, but I guess we're going back up, huh? Or is something coming down? I don't know.
Oh.
Not sure which.
Yeah, could be. Either way.
Well, we're about to find out. Without further ado, here's the exciting beginning of... Oh, shit. What was it called? Disaster from the Skies. Right now.
Yeah, they could have called it Disaster from Disguise.
Ooh.
That's kind of what set this whole conundrum off.
That's true. 'Tis true.
Can we make a spin-off of this about a Muranian that just really wants to be a dentist?
Sure. Why not? Anything's possible with the public domain, Evan. You should know this by now.
To the island of misfit Thunder Riders.
Yeah, I could see it. A scientific city of Murania. Wait, did they not credit it that time? Or, I think my thing's just cropped a little
Yeah, I
weird.
guess they didn't. No.
Well, not like they were before. They had somewhere it's like literally in the credits. Her country's secret. The death chamber.
Well, he's not up there.
Argo. Oh, okay, there it is.
You are the first surface man to invade our empire, and your knowledge of uranium must die with you. Take him away.
See, but he's with
My dear Argo,
the queen.
You may personally build up the voltage.
Right.
You honor me.
He's got to do it. He's just gonna pretend to raise the knob.
In the death chamber. All is prepared.
It's definitely on.
Build up 200,000
Yep, I
volts
clicked the
to
button.
death.
He starts going. Zzz.
Mm.
Can you hear that, Queen? It's really going.
Look at that baby purr. What? Oh, nice. Sick.
The trapdoor button.
Execute.
Execute. Yeah, Gene. Uh-oh. Hard fall for Gene.
Argo, you may now start Audrey's charred body on its trip to the Cavern of the Dunes.
The Cavern of the Dunes? That sounds cool.
His is the fate of all surface men who try to discover the entrance to Murania.
Gene Autry's lips are forever sealed.
Argo. Trickster.
How much longer are we to wait for the word that will start the revolution? Do not be impatient. The clever Argo has saved our lives for a purpose, and we must wait. Why delay? We're equipped? Not yet.
Are you?
My disintegrating atom smashing machine is still in construction.
Disintegrating atom smashing
Capable of
machine.
Destroying the universe. Where are the hand weapons you promised us? I have perfected this Z-ray lithium gun. It is designed to blunt anyone it is turned on, and we must have time to build more. For example,
What? Gene? Uh-oh. Oh shit, they got his foot. Hey, come on, we're all friends here. We were all almost executed.
How did you get in
Wait a
here?
minute, wait! Argo has saved this surface man's life as he has saved ours, but for a different purpose. Why should the Lord High Chancellor want to save him? For vivisection, so that we may
What?
get into our laboratories and learn how a surface man's lungs differ from ours,
What?
and thereby improve our breathing apparatus on surface levels. Take him to the surgery.
Nice. Yeah, Gene.
Stand back.
Ooh.
Get in that corner.
Gene got him. Ah! I'm blind. I'm bleeding. I'm blind. I'm bleeding. I'm blind. Jesus.
This is brutal.
Gene's just coming out blasting too. I love it, dude. Here's this crazy weapon. Gene immediately fires it.
Yeah, sorry, I just lasered this guy's eyeballs out.
See, don't you love how though we were wrong? Like they're not trying to help Gene. They want to hurt Gene.
He's only blinded temporarily. He'll be all right soon.
Temporarily.
Look, the Chancellor. Well, gentlemen, what's this? Gene Autry has escaped with our new ray gun. Autry escaped? Incompetent fools. The Queen learns I saved him from the death chamber, all of us will burn for your carelessness. Well, fortunately, the ray gun that Autry has is lightly charged. It will soon exhaust itself.
Oh, working on charges, huh?
You must find him at once and bring him to our rebel headquarters.
Very modern.
Surface man loose in uranium?
Yeah, battery's not included. Do you think it runs on radon?
Yep.
Radium.
Radium. Yep. Uh-oh, Gene. Yeah. Oh shit, they're right there? Gene.
Take me closer and let me hear what they have to say.
Strangest part of that experience. Oh, you're not leaving, are you? Yes. With Gene Autry disappeared, the radio programs will have to stop. That means there will be nothing interesting here. It's a shame. Such a delightful place.
Nothing interesting
here. He would be arrested for Baxter's murder. I personally think you're wise in leaving. The publicity is bound to be bad. Professor and I are going tomorrow. I agree with you, Doctor. The sooner we all get away from here, the better. Goodbye, sir. Goodbye. Goodbye.
Who were those guys?
It won't be long until Radio Ranch is deserted, and we can continue our search for the entrance to Murania.
Ooh.
So they think they will discover Murania and become rich, do they?
We at least are ridding Radio Ranch of its guests. After they are gone, the small group of scientists will present no difficulty.
Now Gene's getting a layout of all the different interests. All the, like, 4 different factions that he's up against. They all hate him. That is so wild.
Stand still or I'll blind you. Get me Radio Ranch on the television screen.
Let's go ahead and take a break right there. I'm at 8:56, right. So we'll take the break right there. That was the third. I'm thinking it's Friday. That was the first half of Disaster from the Skies. What do we think so far, Evan?
This is interesting. You know, I was expecting this to be a little more black and white, our like rebels versus the evil empire kind of story. And it's either not or it is, and there's just a misunderstanding. And either way, I still think that's like a fairly interesting way to turn this.
I mean, I really think that it's not, because at this point, it's like Gene's only allies really seem to be Frankie and Betsy, and everybody else. You think, oh, well, maybe they'll help Gene, maybe and it's like, no, like they've got their own interests. Like there are these groups that have their own, like I'm pretty sure the rebellious guys that Argo saved, they said something about trying to take over the world, take over the upper world. Like it's just like everybody's got their own motivations, their own like thing that they're after. And
everybody's just me. All I care about is myself.
Gene's the only one who thinks about the people. Gene's the only one who's selfless. And that's why he's our hero.
Right.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, like the
kids only think about Gene.
That's true. The kids do only care about Gene. I am curious, like where are like where's the Junior Thunder Riders and where is everybody? Like let's,
Yeah, what happened to the rescue?
Yeah, I mean, so that's the only thing, is that they've established so many different factions that like they're not necessarily covering everybody. So you're kind of like, well, what are these people doing right now? Like, what are Gene's like radio partners? Like what, like the the goofy guys, where are they? Like, what's up?
Right.
You know, so you can fault it for that, but again, it's not just taking the easy way of, oh, and Gene's saved by these guys, and now Gene's gonna partner up with these guys. It's, oh, also these guys want Gene dead. You know, it's like, what? Like, does Gene not have any allies out here? And he really doesn't.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he may just be kind of on his own. I mean, these kids are helpful, but to a point,
Right.
you know, they're still just kids.
But I would say
He's
that,
gonna be fighting his way out of Urania.
right. But I'd say that's what keeps it interesting, is the idea that it's not just, you know, that Gene is always kind of a man alone up against not just one bad guy, not just two bad guys, but like 4 different factions of bad guys, right? Yeah.
It's kind of step up from our serial heroes so far. Usually they have like somebody to,
Yeah.
you know, they've got some kind of little squad they run with.
Right. No, and I mean, this is a case, yeah, Glasser, where like nobody likes Gene, and that is, the plot is definitely benefiting from that. Because yeah, like even the Whispering Shadow, which it was a little frustrating, that was the last serial that we watched. It was frustrating because, you know, you couldn't tell who was really good and who was really bad. Like, even the hero, Jack, it's like, well, what if Jack is actually, you know, they'd make you suspicious about him. And it was like, but then Jack would partner up with somebody you thought was a bad guy. And then they, you know, and it would just, you could never keep it clear who was on whose side. And I think by that last chapter, everybody was really a good guy, except for the one real bad guy who was,
right,
who you thought was a good guy the whole time. So it's just that idea of like, a lot of serials will kind of jerk you around with like, who are you supposed to trust? And they'll play coy about it. And that's just kind of annoying, you know, like it works for a little bit, but then you're like, just let's get some development here. Let's not just keep going back and forth. Just in this serial, the fact that the bad guys are the bad guys and their goals and motivations are very like clear and logical, that makes for a much more interesting plot. Not just, we got to get our hands on these jewels. Where are the jewels? It's not just about jewels. It's about,
what's my motivation? Wouldn't you like to know?
Yeah. That's the thing. Everybody's got their own like very specific motivation, and that keeps it interesting. And I wasn't expecting those guys like to be like, oh yeah, we're actually evil, and yeah, let's vivisect Gene.
Immediately turn on Gene.
Yeah, like they were ready to vivisect Gene. That was like pretty wild, honestly.
Yeah, that's probably
those are high stakes. Vivisection.
That's like a cut above anything that we've seen, I think, on any of these serials.
Yeah, that is actually what makes this a lot of fun, is that they're twisting the knife a little more. They're going a little bit further than the other serials would go. It's not like just like, oh, we're gonna kill you and use you to study you. It's like, we're gonna vivisect you so we can look at your lungs and see how you breathe and see how they're different from ours. Like,
these guys,
well, that's very specific. Yeah, right. Like they've thought about this. Their intentions are very clear. So you do have to appreciate that compared to most serials that we've seen. And you know, again, and so what I've realized I'll do for the trailer break, because I had to kind of come in, I scrambled in to our trailer break, but I'm going to keep it on theme with our first trailer, because the trailer we saw on our pre-roll was for the very first serial that we ever watched on the show, which also had Phantom in the title. The Phantom Creeps, right? So I think now's a good time to just kind of expound on it for a Type 5. What is a phantom? You know, like what, you know, in this case, in the title, it's being used as more of a verb or or a adjective, an adjective.
Yeah.
Whereas in like the Phantom Creeps, it's a noun, right? It's a person. Right?
Yeah. The Phantom creeps around.
So it's
Jesus wept.
It's yeah. So, but but it is funny though the way that people look at, or the way that that word can be used. And so when you watch like horror and sci-fi things, when they use the word phantom in the title, you never know quite what you're getting, right? Like
what you're gonna bet.
Yeah, is the phantom like a person, or is it just you're describing just a kind of a something else? You know, it's just so, it's funny to me the way that that word gets bandied about, especially when you think you were particularly frustrated with the use of that word earlier this season whenever we watched The Phantom from 10,000 Leagues, because you're like, well, this is a sea monster. Why is the word phantom really appropriate here?
Yeah, I mean,
the looseness of the word phantom is what I'm getting at here. Like how loosely,
how elusive was that sea monster? Because I think if you're an elusive sea monster, you can maybe call yourself a phantom. But
yeah, I mean, I don't know. Again, it's in that movie in particular, that was what the papers called the perpetrator behind these mysterious killings, right? The Phantom. This is the Phantom, and that gets used a lot, right?
Yeah, they love that.
The Phantom Killer.
Who the perp is.
Right. And you know, and that comes from very like real life, like, I mean, you know, one of the, like, you know, the popular urban legend about lovers going out on lovers lane, and then there's like the hook man with the hook hand, and he's gonna get you, and you know, they're real. Right. Well, that's the thing, is that that's really, the urban legend comes out of like real cases like that, which of course I think Zodiac Killer kind of follows those. But there was a case from the 40s in Texarkana, Arkansas, and there was a killer who they called the Texarkana Phantom, who was going around killing these like young couples and young people out on like lovers lanes and like these deserted like stretches of road, and like sometimes he broke into like houses, and you know, he wore like a
hand.
Well, he wore like and I don't know if this is just the movie that was based on this, but he wore like a burlap, in the movie at least, he's got this burlap sack over his head. And there were people that in real life that survived the killings. And so, but he was never identified. So even though there were survivors, I guess he was disguised. So that's why he was given the moniker of the Phantom Killer, right? And so I think if you think about like the Phantom of the Opera, that makes sense, because you have a masked phantom, right? So I think that right, Glasser, yeah, Texarkana Ninja, you know, certainly much like a phantom, a ninja, very masked, elusive, quiet.
They
you know,
just called him like the burlap killer.
The burlap killer. Oh, that would have been good too. I mean, again, you know, the connotations of the word phantom are just really interesting to me, and I don't think we've ever talked about it before. But
yeah.
That's
so, what I'm hearing is we gotta complete the trifecta and start using it as a verb.
Right. Yeah, I think we definitely. Yeah, bro.
It doesn't sound that hard now that I think about it. Ghosting is already a verb.
Yeah.
So
Did you see me,
somebody?
dude, bro? I was phantoming so hard, dude.
Got phantomed by this chick.
Well, I guess phantoming would be like, so if ghosting is like not responding to somebody, phantoming would be like, I'm I might need the break to think on what phantoming could be. That's interesting.
Okay, we'll think about it.
We're gonna have to
Everybody
think
at
about
home,
it.
Think about it.
Yeah,
we're
Glastra,
gonna-
think about it, and when we come back, we'll have some answers, hopefully. So I'm gonna have some phantom trailers during the break, but you're gonna need to bear with me because I gotta take out the random things I had in there. I only came up with this idea of like a phantom theme as we were rolling into it, and I was like,
Okay.
oh, this first trailer is phantom themed. We're watching a so let's talk about phantoms. So we're gonna get some phantom trailers, and then when we come back, we'll get into the exciting conclusion of Disaster from the Skies. So stick around. We'll be right back. This, and a little bit of that. Let's see. Phantom. Some phantom right here. Let's get a little phantom action up in this shields. Let's see. Phantom right here. And let's see. All right. Yes, that's very good, Glastra. Spot on. Let's see. Here we go. Okay, here's one. All right.
Here is all you've ever wanted in entertainment in one superb show. Here is matchless story, suspenseful, terrifying, never so thrillingly presented. Here in breathtaking technicolor is superb spectacle and splendor and romance. Here is a chorus of 100 voices, a ballet of 100 dancers, a cast of 1,000, starring Nelson Eddy in his most vigorous performance, lovely Susanna Foster, and Claude Rains in the most coveted role of the year as the Phantom of the Opera.
My music! You've stolen it! You've stolen my music!
Twentieth Century Fox presents Phantom of the Paradise, a gothic horror story.
What was that? Our love.
A beautiful love story.
Whole love.
baby, like a circus. A cinematic odyssey through the rock universe. From Greece to glitter and beyond. The story of a sound, the man who created it, the girl who sang it, the monster who stole it, and the phantom who haunts the paradise, the ultimate rock palace. Phantom of the Paradise.
My music is for Phoenix. Only she can sing it. Anyone else that tries dies.
Phoenix.
Phoenix.
Well, you told me one time that you'd be somebody, that you weren't working just to survive.
B.
Man, you better get yourself a castrato for this.
Paul Williams as Swan.
And the angels that defeated them.
I want you to stop terrorizing the paradise and rewrite your cantata.
And the Phantom.
Stop and try me, only you might satisfy me,
Phantom of the Paradise.
There really is the Phantom.
There really is a Phantom. So we are back. Those were two Phantom trailers. Of course, one was for the 1943 version, I believe, of the Phantom of the Opera, which, yes, Glastra, it's all right. It's more of a musical than a gothic horror film. It's very depends on what your feeling is on musicals. I'm not a big musical guy per se. I'm not a really big fan of those old musicals. Like that Phantom of the Opera is just kind of annoying, to be honest with you, because I'm like, come on, let's get some, we don't need let's get to the murder. I don't need this, but that was a time when musicals were really popular. So they took advantage of doing this kind of horror movie musical, kind of a hybrid thing. But to me, it's just too stuffy. It's just too, I don't know. The story's not really very good, which again, you would say, well, it's the Phantom of the Opera. What's different? But it just, you'll have to trust me. It's just kind of phoned in. The romance stuff is just kind of phoned in, and it was a mess, apparently, the production. But if you're a Universal monster, no, he's definitely not a Phantom of the Paradise, which if you haven't seen that, definitely check that out. That was on TV again the other day. For some reason, Fox Movie Channel shows that all the time. I don't know why, but very often they will show Phantom of the Paradise, which I guess I'd only seen for the first time 3, 4, 5 years ago, and I really, really, really enjoyed it. There's some songs in that are a little they're not great, but yeah, Glastra is definitely a cult classic because there are some really catchy songs. There's some great acting, great cinematography, great camera work. Rod Serling does a little intro narration that's really cool. Much better than his narration for Encounter with the Unknown. It's just a movie that's got a lot. And if you like Rocky Horror Picture Show, you'll probably like Phantom of the Paradise. Again, to me, which, like I said earlier, I'm not as big of a fan as old musicals, but I really enjoyed Phantom of the Paradise. I also really enjoyed Rocky Horror Picture Show. And to me, pretty much every song in that movie is incredibly catchy. Like with Phantom of the Paradise, there's some that I'm just like, this one doesn't this song doesn't really grab me. But there's some that really get me. Like I know all the words, like I love them. So yeah, if you like that, if you like that kind of like a musical horror movie hybrid, you would enjoy it. It's also like a play, like it's not just a play on Phantom of the Opera, it's a play on the story of Faust and there's a couple other, like they're obviously satirizing the music business big time. And yeah, there's like a lot of parodies and a lot of the songs are parodies. And yeah, I mean, it's definitely worth checking out. But yeah, any Rocky Horror Picture Show fans in the chat. Oh yeah, see, I wish they do, like there is a bit where they kind of make fun of like kind of like that like country southern, because it is like the main, like it's about a music producer and he's trying to find the next big trends, right? So they play on all these trends that were popular at that time in 1974. So they have like a spot on Beach Boys parody at one point. Is like, of course, like, you know, I'm like, I've been obsessed with the Beach Boys lately. Like, you know, the weird Beach Boys stuff. But yeah, it's been a Beach Boys summer for sure. And so but before I had been getting into them like I had been, like, you know, this song had already like caught my ear and caught my like, you know, I had it on some playlists and it was only later that I was like, "Oh yeah, this is just they're making fun of the Beach Boys here. That's what they're doing." And that's probably why I like this, because it's got that harmony and that like bright bouncy, you know, jump da 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 da, you know, it's like that's me. Guilty. I like bright, bouncy, happy music. Although there's some sad Beach Boys songs that what my brother calls them sad. He's like, "Why do you like all their sad songs?" It's like they're not sad. They're just different. Okay, they're not sad. But I digress. I'm going totally off on a tangent. We have got to continue the exploration of this Phantom Empire because Gene is in the thick of this Phantom Empire right now, on the run. And if I believe correctly, and yes, Glastra, you know what I'm talking about. Beach Boys is the summer. Yes, 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 yes. And again, highly encourage if you haven't listened to their weird stuff post 1966, post Pet Sounds, pre Kokomo. That's the era that I've been like exploring recently that I'm like mind blown. So anyway, definitely there's some depression and addiction and all kinds of stuff running through the group at the time that you that's kind of what Surf's Up is, which is one of their like last great songs. It's kind of, you could view it as Beaches Closed. I don't know. I'm still just scratching the surface of what, you know, this music is just so ridiculous, but total digression. Anyway, so last we left off, Gene, was he in Queen Tika's, like, he was in that chamber, right? Mm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's what it was. I forgot. Yeah, we stopped right as he was holding the soldier at the point of the laser gun, which will blind you and make your eyes bleed. But it's only temporary, apparently. So I don't know. If my eyes are bleeding, I don't know how temporary that is. Oh, Evan.
Those non-lethal options.
Yes, it is. And Evan, I'm so sorry. I forgot to take your yes, that's my bad. I had you muted, but you're unmuted.
I've been on mute this whole time.
Yep. Yep. Classic me fucking up the engineering over here. Thank you, Glasser. I'm an okay host. I'm a terrible engineer, as Evan can attest to. But my apologies, Evan. A thousand pardons, sir.
We gotta run it back.
We gotta okay.
All that gold.
Yeah, I think through Streamlabs it might have still been recording. So we got to back up. We always got to back up. So we'll upload it later. But anyway, anything before we get into the exciting conclusion of tonight's episode, Evan?
Yeah, I think that gun is just a flashlight.
It's just like a 21st century like LED flashlight, and it's just
I'm blind.
Yeah, you flash an LED light in the eyes of a person in any time before the year 2000, you're gonna be blind for a little bit, and the further back you go, the worse it gets. So imagine.
Yeah, that's why my eyes always start bleeding whenever I'm driving down the highway.
I mean, think about it. Honestly, what was that device in the Men in Black movie but just a really freaking powerful LED light? Makes sense, right?
Yeah.
It's super powerful.
It's so bright it makes you forget, because all you can think about is, damn, how bright was that flashlight?
Yep, just wipes it clean. That's what LED does. That's why we're all losing our brain cells. Our brains are all turning smooth. So you can thank the LED for that. And if we ever develop time travel capabilities, we know to carry an LED flashlight with us. And if you flash it into the anyone's eyes from a long time ago, they're done. They're gonna start bleeding like this guy was. So we're gonna see if Gene's gonna blast this guy and just start blasting through the whole city. That'd be fun. Let's see. Well, on that note, without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get into the exciting conclusion of The Phantom Empire, which disaster from the skies. I mean, we're halfway through.
What skies?
What skies? We're underground. So
unless they're just talking about Gene.
Could be. Yeah, it could. That's what earlier I was like, are they just talking about Gene? Could be Gene. We'll find out. Yeah, it's Gene's just a menace. He is a disaster. He is the disaster from the
human natural disaster.
Well, on that note, we're going to go ahead and get into it right now.
Get over there.
And so Gene's contacting Radio Ranch. Is he going to do the show from Urania? This is Gene Autry coming to you live from Urania.
The meeting is now called to order. Is anyone any clues to the whereabouts of Gene Autry? No. Maybe by this time our president and vice president have learned something from the direction finder in Frankie's laboratory.
Nice. God, they're so official. Frankie's in the lab.
Yes, Mr. President, our scouting expedition has failed. Any instructions?
Oh, I know Gene is underground somewhere. If we could only find the entrance to Marania, the Thunder Riders pub could rescue him. Frank,
Sure.
Yeah.
Bessie, I'm trying to talk to you.
Junior
Can't you
Thunder
understand me?
Riders are gonna
Why can't they
storm
understand?
Urania.
Word scrambler.
Get back to the board. What do you mean, word scramble?
It's an instrument which mixes up the words of our wireless telephone so that nobody outside of Urania can understand what is said.
What? Oh.
Ooh.
No charge. He's gonna make a run for it. He's bigger than Gene. I love how that dude is huge and he's like turning to run. Oh, fuck. That was
All those
hilarious.
signals are coming from Marania. The direction finder's pointing straight down. Frankie, Betsy, can you hear me?
Nope.
Can you hear me now, Frankie?
Man, early wireless communication devices really didn't come far in 70 years, did they?
Speak to me again.
Can you hear me now?
Here I am, 20,000 feet under the ground in
It looks like he's just shoving wires into a big potato.
Through a secret entrance at the head of Thunder Canyon, near Whale Rock.
We'll start right away.
No, don't. You couldn't do any good.
I love how he's yelling off camera.
Where are you going? Where are you? Speak to me.
Uh-oh. You're gonna give him away.
What happened? Why
Nice. Gene slipped out the back door.
What business is this, Lord Argo?
Oh.
We'll meet you in Lorraine.
There's the answer to your question.
This isn't what it looks like.
I caught Gasper plotting with circus people. You may judge for yourself if I handled it properly.
Switch it off.
What?
He's quick.
Suma. Prepare a radium bomb and send it out to meet and destroy the surface riders who will soon be headed this way.
Damn.
Jeez.
Radium bomb.
To the rescue! To the rescue!
We're members of the club. Why don't we go along?
To the rescue!
I'm sorry, but I don't think that these grown men should be a member of this kids club. I don't know how I feel about that.
Well, are you a coming or ain't you?
Ain't
I
ye?
can't go till the horse starts.
Well, why don't you stop playing that harp and start to ride me?
He won't go but for one certain tune. I've forgotten it.
Well, why don't you start singing something and maybe you'll go? Anything to get away from you. Get up.
Get up.
Overhead, Daffy. No need to worry, my mind no more. Oh, no, gray mare, shade what?
Wow, you're doing a terrible job.
Vivian.
Here's your
I know
song,
you
Garrett.
could go. I just forgot your tune now, Vivian.
He's no Gene.
I remember.
Huh.
Hey, wait for me!
All right. Okay, we got our obligatory comic relief. Let's move on.
All right.
Time to move on.
Back to the action.
Whoa. He is running, dude. He's moving faster than the dang horse. Oh, yeah, Gene, make friends with the robots. Of course. Gene is a friend of AI. They're wearing cowboy hats.
This one's all right. Set that one to guard the door. I'm not sure I know how. All right, I'll show you how. Press that white button. That puts him on the alert. Press that middle one. And that sets the infrared switch.
The infrared switch. Dude, I told you, dude. Red. What is it? The red light.
Either of these lights.
Rudolph. Gene.
Well, Audrey will never pass here.
Whoa, Rudolph the robotic reindeer.
That's the song Gene should have written.
He had a very shiny chrome.
Now they've got these. They didn't have those on the heads before. It's like halfway through the serial, they're like, oh, we should give them all little bulbs up here. I don't know why, but the robots, you know who they remind me of?
Who?
They remind me of the automatic pilot from Airplane.
I can see it, yeah. Just, there's something about the,
There's something about the... Just there's a blank expression, but almost like a smirk. And just the stiffness. I don't know. Whoop. Oh, Gene. This dude's not going to be able to breathe when they come up. Jean's got the advantage. She's just got to fight him, hold him off long enough. How long does this trip take, though? That's what we don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, see, Glasher, you know, it's this. I don't know. It just struck me. I finally, tonight, the resemblance was clear. Gene's just fucking scrapping, dude. He is. He's running around the city scrapping, man. Exactly what I wanted.
Yep, one-man army tearing through Murania.
Just fucking punching and not acting his way through it at all. The way it should be.
Well, yeah, right, yeah. They gotta find something for Gene to do.
Action.
Other than talking.
Yeah. That keeps it interesting. Oh my god. Uh-oh. Oh. What? He pulled the whole console down.
Very light console. Uh-oh.
What? Oh my god, that was wild. Wow, that was the exciting conclusion of The Phantom Empire, Chapter 6, Disaster from the Skies. What did we think, Evan?
What a disaster from the skies that was. These titles always get me because they're always the very last thing to happen.
Are they always?
I forget about it. It feels like it, at least.
Because I know that there was a time, maybe it was with the Phantom Creeps, where it was like that, where or maybe it was Flash Gordon, where the title was usually in reference to the ending cliffhanger. But then I feel like we've gotten a lot of serials where they don't really, it's not based on the cliffhanger.
We've gotten away from that, but
yeah, and even with this one,
I just feel like I should expect it at this point.
Yeah, we should have. If we got halfway through the episode and we haven't gotten whatever we expected, we should know that it's gonna come at the cliffhanger, of course. But yeah, I mean that was in all like a, again, this. If it was any other serial, that would have just been a filler chapter. Like,
right, yeah.
But even, and I don't know, maybe it's been such a long time that we're not giving Flash Gordon enough credit. Because, I mean, there was a lot going on in Flash Gordon. Is it Flash Gordon Conquers the Universe? I think that's what it was. Yeah, there was a lot going on, but it did just kind of feel monotonous to a point. I mean, I don't know if that was the impression that you walked away with from Flash Gordon.
So, yeah. It felt like, barely par for the course is like, how these serials go. A lot of running around, a lot of rigmarole.
Right, but this definitely, it doesn't strike me the same way. It does feel like
And what's the difference? Because this feels like it should be pretty similar to. This is just like cowboy Flash Gordon.
The only difference I can think is that this came first. The very first Flash Gordon serial came after this, and the one that we watched was the third one, the third Flash Gordon serial, and it was released in 1939. So 4 years after tonight's serial. So I think that 4 years later, they definitely weren't really caring about quality with serial writing and serial making. And again, that came from Universal, those Flash Gordon serials. And they definitely were not putting a lot into the writing of those things. I mean, again, like the Phantom Creeps was one where they just went in a triangle. I think Flash Gordon, for the most part, they just kind of went in this triangle, and it didn't really feel like there was a lot. You know, again, we've got 4 or 5 different factions against Jean here. In Flash Gordon, it's literally just Flash Gordon and Ming. Right? Like, well, there was the...
Yeah, so it's kind of back and forth.
Yeah, every once in a while there was the underground people or something at one point.
Yeah, they'd end up in some third location.
Yeah, and there would be another group of people there, but it wasn't like this overarching storyline that the stakes were building with every chapter. Yeah, I think that the difference is that this was at a time where serials were a little bit more valued as a form of entertainment, like, and not just all the kids are the only ones paying attention to this. So let's not worry about making it too, you know, like building. Let's just, you know, kind of do the same thing every time. It'll be fine. Nobody's paying that much attention. And the fact
Nobody
that
ever told Flash Gordon that they were gonna vivisect him.
no, right? Ming was never. Yeah, it was just more vague, right? Like, I think the other difference here is the fact that this was made by a studio that really only made serials. Serials was all that Mascot did. So I think that they knew that they had something unique on their hands here with this Western sci-fi hybrid. So I think they were like, well, let's actually hire some good writers and let's make sure these scripts are good and that the story is good. And we've got a star in Gene Autry. So let's make sure that we're using him to good effect, which means let's not give him a bunch of useless dialogue about where the MacGuffin's at and who's got it and blah, 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 like in The Whispering Shadow, which was like, you know, there'd be just so much dialogue, Jack, and, you know, talking about the stuff that is just a rehash or a recap. Whereas here,
thank goodness we're not like chasing something around.
Yeah.
This time.
No, like Gene is kind of, he's our hero. Like Flash Gordon is a hero that you like to follow. The other serials don't really have that as much. And then here, the difference is that hero actually has some like stakes, and they're really, again, they're just trying to make sure that the stories are good and that there's progression and arcs and changes and all these things that you're just not getting from later serials. So
I hope they can keep it up, because we've still got enough episodes they could devolve into a back and forth. We're back on the surface. We're back in Queen Tika's castle.
Right. Yeah, I mean, we are
that we've come to see.
You're 100% right. We are 6 chapters.
We're what, halfway?
Yeah, we're halfway through. So the other 6, I mean, the monotony could still creep in. Don't get me wrong, but I'd say 6.
So far,
yeah, I'd say 6 chapters without it feeling monotonous is a record. On this show, for the serials that we want.
That's true.
So yeah, I mean, tonight's episode pretty solid. So we'll see if they can keep it up next week. So join us for that again, 9 p.m. Eastern here on Twitch. We will be off this Friday. I don't know. Did I mention that on last week's episode of the mainstream?
I think you might have. I don't remember.
So I will not I will be absent, so we will not have an episode of the main show this Friday, but we will be back next Friday at 9 p.m. for our 8th feature in the Summer of Schlock Returns, which is a indie regional horror film from the early 60s. Oh, excuse me, entitled Ring of Terror. And this is kind of based on some urban legends and just, you know, the idea of, you know, fraternities making their pledges do gruesome things in order to be accepted into the frat, nothing short of breaking into a tomb and stealing a ring off the finger of a dead body. You would be surprised, and
So it's not a it's not a horror movie shot through somebody's doorbell camera.
No, although has that been done yet?
Has that been done?
God damn it, Evan. We've got to, this is on the download. Glastra, don't tell anybody. We're going to write this in 2 days and we're going to go ahead and make this because my God damn it, Evan, you just dropped a gem on us right here. So we're going to be making this movie.
Steal it.
No, seriously, like, but we could make this really fast. Evan and I are going to talk about this later. We'll keep you guys posted as we make this amazing film. Copyright Evan Sink 2024, all rights reserved. So there it is. I did it for you, Evan. Copyright.
Thanks.
Yeah, well, this show, I mean, we've learned our lessons from this show, haven't we?
Right. Yeah. You gotta protect your ideas.
Even though really now the law has changed so that your ideas are inherently protected, right? Like that's the oh, that's awesome. Okay, Glasser, very nice. Yeah, no, I'm happy to. Again, we're like a podcast. We're like a radio show. We're just here blathering in the background, you know, at your leisure. We're just that white noise for you to have on in the background. I mean,
yep, we're just chit chattering in the background.
When I first made this show, I said, hell, we could, you know, throw us on at any time. Throw us on in the back of a party. You don't need to pay attention to us, you know? Like, it's just every once in a while, I'd be like, what's going on here? What's that movie they're watching? That's strange. Fun stuff. Oh, that's great. Well, I'm glad that I appreciate you being in the chat, Glasser. The chat makes it a lot of fun when there's activity in the chat. Evan and I can kind of just vibe and have a good time. So appreciate that. Appreciate you being here. Appreciate everybody tuning in tonight, and of course that will tune in later when this is eventually uploaded on our YouTube page. Of course, we are over on YouTube at Scream Stream Live. All of our past episodes are over there. Minisodes, Saturday Night Shockers, Spine Tingling Tales, which we're a little backed up right now. So I've been doing shorter ones, but I did a longer one. And so now I'm finding that I'm like in a little over my head. And then on top of like everything else I'm doing, summer is my busy season. So this week has been crazy. And then next week I'm dead. It's all dead. My schedule's dead. Like it's crazy. So, hopefully by the end of this week, I'll have that up. And then Evan's already got his next one ready. Evan's on time and on schedule as always. And then I gotta try to have another story up Monday, but we will be rolling those out. I will get caught up on the schedule.
It's gonna blast 3 out at once.
Well, they'll be in pretty quick succession for sure. So of course, be on the lookout for those. And if you want to follow us, the show on the socials, you can find us on Instagram. TikTok, we're there. Twitter. Of course, you can find me and Evan on Twitter. I'm on there at Spakenstein, and Mr. Evan Sink is on Twitter and Instagram at Caligari Cursed. Anything before we sign off tonight, Evan?
Yeah, we gotta define so phantom.
Oh, I forgot.
I think it's gotta be, it's like ghosting somebody, but maybe you pop back up just once every now and then, like you're haunting them.
Ah, that's it.
Just enough to make them go crazy.
That's it. That's the perfect definition.
You're not alone. I can't believe I'm getting phantomed.
Feel free to use it at your leisure. We all have those phantoms in our life, don't we? We do. Until next week. Sweet screams, everybody.
And to all, a Good Fright.